Hey everyone, quick video here about the release of the Switch 2, and while there's not much to talk about in terms of technology, what to expect, and pricing or release date, although I think they do have a release date, sometime in 2025, I did want to talk about the brilliant way they showed off the Switch 2, because you may have seen the leaks and thought, okay, it's just the Switch, but no, it's larger. It has what looks to be a better kickstand, and there's something funky going on with those controllers, even the way they might sound. Anyway, let's get into it. So we start off with the Switch and that iconic sound the Joycons make when they come off or on the rails. It's very satisfying. Then we see the screen grow, so instantly we know this is a bigger screen and a bigger console altogether. But I like how they're showing this off, because you can just show off the two units side by side, right? Or even say now with 2 more inches of screen size, but the way they showed this off is a great visual representation of how much larger that screen is. By actually growing the screen, the subtle bubble-like growth and shrinking at the end was a nice touch too. It's very Nintendo, very friendly, very fun. However, you'll notice the screen is still black. They're not showing off any gameplay or even a logo on it, and we'll get back to that in just a second. But now we get to what looks like the skin shedding, and we see a more matte color. The side rails, or lack of rails, all the ports and buttons, and look at that, headphone jack. I also like how they carved out the kickstand, though it still seems a bit flimsy. We'll see how those hinges hold up. Now, I like how they show how far that kickstand goes back, and the subtle sound they use helps that visualization of stretching to its limits, even though it's kind of not really doing much. But the audio cues help to make it feel like it's really going that far back. Then we get to the Joy-Cons, where they do the same growth, subtle design change in the coloring, and the new connector ports. No idea if these are Halifax sticks, but when we see what was rumored to be an IR sensor, that might be utilized as a mouse. And I'm pretty sure this is Nintendo's subtle way of saying, hey, these controllers can do things similar to a mouse now. But then you hear it. Huh? The new sound, and that definitely sounds like powerful magnets when they snap into place. We no longer have the iconic snap, but we have the clap. You know what I mean, not that clap. It's still a pretty good sound. And then we get to the beauty shot with the second clap and the logo, which is interesting because it's the icon of the controllers with the 2 next to it, not the Switch 2. That still just says Nintendo Switch, and it carries through on what looks like to be all the branding. It reminds me of the Apple TV with the Apple logo and TV next to it. I like it though, it's very iconic, very strong branding. Now, one thing I noticed is the screen looks to have a very small bezel, but when they finally show gameplay of what I'm guessing is the next Mario Kart game, we see a very large inner bezel. Now, the reason why they didn't show this during the transformation at the beginning is because I think it wouldn't look as big if you see both consoles with a big ass bezel there. Then we get to the dock and I noticed something interesting. Yes, it's rounded, but I only see one cable, and I'm guessing that's the HDMI cable. I'm sure it has a power cable. I see a light on the side, but it's interesting they're not showing a second cable as well. Hopefully it's not just powered by the Switch only, or maybe it's showing that the Switch 2 can power the dock and the cable isn't required. We then see the new controller dock when in dock mode. So overall, I think this was a pretty good reveal of the console, and everyone knew what was coming and knew what it looked like, right? But haven't seen it up close on a macro level. I like how Nintendo compared the 2 systems without having the 2 systems on screen at the same time, showing it grow, the new ports, the kickstand, and what the controllers could do, all without text or voiceover, is pretty powerful stuff. Obviously the designers, the writers, and the video editors knew what they were doing. To confirm so much without anything else except visuals is what great design is all about. They conveyed so much without a single word. It was short, it was to the point. I mean, they didn't need to show off much, right? If you look at this compared to the original Switch trailer, they kind of do the same thing, but the Switch 2 reveal trailer is so much more truncated. It's a visual bullet point of here's what's different. They knew you knew what a Switch was, what it can do in terms of controller disconnect and docking, so they didn't have to explain all that all over again. They didn't repeat themselves. And in the marketing world, designers get a lot of flack because the marketers always wonder, well, if we don't show off what this can do, how will they know? I'm betting a designer won this battle because they did show off very little, but they showed off exactly what they needed to show off. And for a large corporation with what I'm sure was a lot of people overseeing this trailer, that's a really hard thing to do. I still want to see the operating system, the GUI, all that jazz, and I'll probably make a video on that at some point, but until then, let me know what you think about the reveal trailer. Did you like it? Should they have shown off more? Do you miss the eShop music as much as I do? But until next time, I'll see you guys later.